Hey boos, in this video I give commentary based on my opinion. Nothing is to be taken as factual. We are just here to have conversation. We don't expose and we don't sip tea on this channel. I'm giving you real talk straight, no chaser. Let's see if you can handle it.
Cause I'm a boss.
Oh, hell no. Hi guys, it's Yoni and I'm back with another video. So in today's video, I'm going to be reacting to a YouTube video that is titled The Black Girl Fetish. Now, a YouTuber by the name of T Noir, she decided to speak out against this fake performative admiration for black women because she is noticing that there is this trend where people are showing fake admiration towards black women for a come up and just simply for money. So they are pandering to us. They are trying to build a following of black women to where they can make money. This is also very similar to the Black Lives Matter movement. Not too long ago, we saw how there were brands, there were businesses that were releasing statements saying that they are in support of the Black Lives Matter movement, saying that they stand with us, basically giving us a bunch of smoke and mirrors, but in reality, we don't really hear or see anything being done regarding those statements that were released. And this is very similar. So we are seeing non-black men give admiration and praise to black women for a come up. So let's go ahead and get right into today's video. But first, make sure you subscribe to T Noir's YouTube channel. I'll make sure to leave all information down below in the description box.
Today specifically, I choose violence. I'm just kidding. Today I'm not actually choosing violence, but I know that's an inevitable outcome because I'm gonna ruffle some feathers today. I just feel it coming. Black women, we just can't seem to catch a break. Just as people have made careers and personality traits out of looking like us, talking like us, making fun of us, there is now a phenomenon on social media of non-black men whose career and brand is the fetishization and performative admiration of black women, and they're getting a proper come up out of that. Now, truthfully, this has always been bothersome, but never really enough for me to sit down and make a whole video about. To me, it was just another microaggression, you know what I mean? But recently, I'm seeing, on top of this utter fuckery, black women are also being gaslighted when we try to speak out and criticize it. Not on my watch.
Somebody been smoking and drinking. Somebody been smoking and drinking.
Oh my gosh.
Somebody been smoking and drinking.
So yeah, now we gotta take it there. Today's the day. I think white men are fantastic. Why am I dragging it? You see how I be overcompensating just because I know people love to twist my words? Alright, to put it plainly and honestly, I have been attracted to many white men in my life. Yeah, many a Jakes, many a Connors. Love me a good dumper truck Dylan.
Okay.
Don't fuck me like that. Fuck me like this. Yeah. His friends and his dad hate me. I broke his little heart. He a crybaby.
You know what I mean? I can be attracted to non-black men and even express it on occasion and then go about my day. Because I gain nothing from constantly telling the world that I'm willing to date outside of my race.
Thank you.
Why do some non-black men feel the need to go out of their way to tell the whole wide world that they're willing to date black women and then go on to expect rewards for it? Because the stakes are different when society has historically gone well out of its way to try and strip a group of its desirability. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the non-black men who love us for a come up.
I like those skins. Look at melanin, talk, pushing the tone. When I'm stepping next, y'all will get slain. What's up, Malbo round?
Really?
Sometimes I swear it was enough for my heart.
Now, from the outside looking in, you may say, what's the big deal? These are just men who are showing love to a disenfranchised group, giving black women the love and admiration that you yourself have said that y'all don't get enough of. Shouldn't you just be grateful? No, this is not genuine appreciation.
No, it's not.
It's a performance. and it's fucking weird. And the fact that many of these men feel the need to dress urban in these videos and use AAVE and have rap music played in the background.
Oh, bad bitch. What kind of bad bitch? Right now. What kind of bad bitch? A melanin queen.
Is pandering. Genuine appreciation would be the occasional compliment without having to compare us to food. Genuine appreciation would be admiration without having to put down other races of women or make it a point that you're choosing us over or in spite of someone else. Who told y'all that was a fact? Okay, genuine appreciation would be celebration.
I gotta stop her right there. You know, so far, my opinion is this. So far, right? This is what we get. This is what we get as Black women. This is what we get. Why? Because we're repeating things. We're not learning from what we have gone through. We didn't learn from our grandmothers. We didn't learn from our great-grandmothers. We didn't learn from our mothers. When are we collectively as Black women, when are we going to stop placing men on a pedestal? I just want to know, when are we going to stop doing it? Because at first, we placed Black men on a pedestal for being Black, right? And now we're turning around and we're doing it again to non-Black men. So it comes from low self-esteem and it comes from a place of low self-confidence. Because if anything, you should be placing yourself on a pedestal. You should be praising yourself. But this is what happens. This is what happens when you put men before yourself. This is what happens. So when I say we didn't learn anything from the generation before us, what do I mean by that? I mean, we placed Black men on a pedestal for being Black, right? So now they don't even want to do the bare minimum anymore. So what do you think that means now when we look at non-Black men for just simply praising them for performative admiration? Now they're going to feel like, oh, by giving us a compliment that they're doing us a favor. How bare minimum is that? Listen. The bar is not even in hell anymore. I don't even know where the bar is, but it is so low when it comes to us as Black women. It's really sad. And this is why I want more Black women to heal from their trauma. Listen, we live in a society that tells you over and over and over again that you're not beautiful. We live in a society that tells you over and over again that you're not good enough. So now when one guy comes into your life and gives you a little bit of praise, like this much, it can be performative, it can be fake. You buy into it. That's a woman that's not sure of herself. That's a woman that is not confident in herself. That is a woman with low self-esteem. And I saw this coming. When I look at things, sometimes I look at things from a perspective of patterns. And this is a pattern with us as Black women. And it's because a lot of us have not healed from our trauma. A lot of us still have low self-esteem. And so whenever a non-Black man comes along and gives us a compliment, that's bare minimum when we speak of other women, right? We praise them for that. How about we start praising ourselves? Because when you start praising yourself, you know your worth. When you start praising yourself, you know who you are. And you're sure of who you are as a Black woman. So that's what I want to see more of. I'm tired of seeing women always praising men, having more loyalty to men than themselves. How about we just focus on ourselves as Black women? Because now we have non-Black men once again making a come up off of us and our insecurities. Because this is where it stems from. This is where it comes from. How about we just focus on ourselves?
Without having to make it a point that even though society at large thinks Black women are ugly and disgusting, you would still fuck us. So I actually had to take the sound out of the first half of this clip so I didn't get a copyright strike, so I'll just reenact it for you. Random people, do you like Black girls, bro? Yeah, why? Because Black girls aren't attractive. You need to find a nice white girl. And then he says, am I wrong? You're gonna look at me and you're gonna tell me that I'm wrong? I got a shout out is for Hersey, whose video helped me verbalize what I'm about to say so much better. One thing white men know how to do well is feed into the insecurities of women of color. Women of color are told from literally birth that they're like undesirable, that nobody wants them. They're told this shit like by so many people, even men of their own race. And every single time, white men are like, okay,
we see these women are struggling with their own sense of self just based on their ethnicity. So let me just feed into it. Let me tell them that I find them desirable. Like we're a f***ing prop. Like we're something that you can fetishize. And what's so disheartening is you see women of color in the comments like eating this shit up, and I honestly do not blame them. Like when you are gaslit your entire life, told that you're f***ing ugly, and then you see a white boy who calls himself a golden retriever being like, I find you attractive, you're gonna feed into it.
Queen. Let's
okay, queen. Yes, queen.
White men know how to play into the insecurities of women of color. Yes. But to take it a step further, I would even say this particular act of performative admiration is especially twisted because they are exploiting and capitalizing off of the insecurities of Black women, insecurities that they, or at least their group, created. The hierarchy of beauty, which is governed by the white male gaze, adheres mainly to a white standard. And side note, if you want to dive deeper into that topic, Khadijah Mbawe did an amazing video called Beauty is in the Eye of the Colonizer. Come on, go check it out.
I'm going to have to check that one out too.
I would advise everyone just take a deep breath before they click on her video because she's literally breathtakingly beautiful. But yeah, the hierarchy of beauty adheres mainly to a white standard. Thus, in the context of beauty and femininity, Black women are the most disregarded, even by our own Black men. Now, many of us do eventually make it to the other side of rejecting that standard and purging the internalized misogynoir. And before you know it, it's Black girl magic this, my Black girl beautiful that.
Period.
We went out of color. You see how we be acting.
Yes.
That shit takes years.
It does.
It takes a long time. And before we make it to that point, Black women, can we just keep it a buck about the desperation that many of us had to overcome? For me, it happened around like age 14. Society and the media had done such a fabulous job of convincing me that I was ugly and undesirable. And I was getting to that age where I just wanted to feel something, you know? I just wanted a little TLC just like everybody else in the 9th grade. And I wanted to feel so beautiful, so bad. I was willing to accept disingenuous and sometimes fetishized attention rather than the absence of attention altogether.
So let me explain my story. So my story is just a tad bit different. So I went through so many different phases when it comes to this. Accepting myself, basically. My natural beauty. It was something that I struggled with. And so I would come in and out of it. Now I feel like I'm in a better place. So when I was younger, I couldn't accept myself because I wasn't average, meaning I was taller than most girls my age. I was thicker, curvier than most girls my age. So I struggled with that. And then when you have Black features, like big lips were not always in. They're in now, but they weren't in back then. Having a certain nose shape wasn't in. Even a round face was not always in. It wasn't always a trend. So then when I take it a step further, that's my childhood. And then when I transitioned into womanhood, I had so many different phases where, okay, I wanted to accept myself, but my body was being sexualized and my body shape was a fetish. And so it was hard then because I'm like, okay, if I accept myself, then that means I also have to accept how men constantly sexualize me. So I went through a phase where I was kind of like, oh, I don't want to accept myself because once I do, that means I'm basically accepting the fact that these men look at me sexually 99% of the time. So I didn't want to love myself. I didn't want to accept myself because I felt like if I did, then I had to accept those men who would do that to me, right? And that was something that I struggled with. And it caused me to diet cycle. It caused me to also shame my body. Shame it so much to the point where I am in therapy for it. Like I'm working on this. I'm working on embracing myself. Now, my story isn't really about skin necessarily, but as a Black woman, when you are born curvy, it comes with a certain standard of being sexualized at a very young age. And when you are born built a certain way, it's hard to accept yourself. So my situation is just a little bit different, but it's very similar to her story as well, where I didn't want to accept myself because I was sexualized constantly. And I felt like if I did, then I would be condoning the things that I didn't like, that how men would treat me, how they would look at me. I felt like if I accepted myself, I had to accept that too. So my therapist recently told me, like, you don't have to accept that. She was like, you don't have to accept any of that, but you should definitely accept yourself and love yourself, because if you don't, then who will you be? Who are you? How will people respect you? And it was something that I had to really like turn within to really understand and realize. So this is just a black girl's story. Like, we all have them. We all have them. We all have them. But it should never be to where we are placing men on a pedestal for simply complimenting us. Because part of my recent trauma with my dating life, I had a man who I opened up to and expressed to this was something I was struggling with, and he did exactly what the other men would do. And so I didn't even see it, because he told me things as if he accepted me, as if he only wanted me for me, as if he saw me outside of my outer appearance, as if he didn't sexualize me, when in reality he did. And he got the one thing that I wasn't willing to give to other men. He took that from me because he performed. And this is what I don't want for other black women, is to get in a relationship or date a guy and he gets the one thing that he wants out of you. It could be something as simple as an experience, and then here you are back in therapy because you just simply did not love yourself.
Being over-sexualized, and what I mean by being over-sexualized, you know, now that I'm starting to get attention from men, it's hard dealing with the fact that they only view me sexually. Like, I understand, you know, when you meet a woman for the first time, of course you're going to be attracted to that person. I don't know if it's because of my childhood. I can remember when I was 11 years old, because I was so hippie, curvy, hips, you know, boobs, Coca-Cola bottle shape, all of that. I was always over-sexualized. When a man sees you and he only sees you sexually, he doesn't care about your personality, what you think, you know, your opinions, you know, if you guys have common interests or anything like that. But when a man doesn't care to get to know you, it will bother you.
That's what my whole recent lesson when it comes to my dating life was about. I didn't love myself. So this man was able to slip through the cracks, all because I did not love myself. I didn't see the beauty in me. So this is so deep, and I hope you guys are understanding where I'm coming from. Like, this has so many layers. This is a really good video. I'm surprised that it doesn't have more thumbs down, because whenever you try to speak out against this, because black women want to have the upper hand when it comes to black men, they ignore this. They ignore this reality. But now it's becoming more and more obvious. And what I want black women to understand, love yourself. Put yourself on a pedestal. Stop putting other people outside of yourself on a pedestal. Put yourself on a pedestal.
See that little window of despair? That's what's being exploited. And I use the word exploited because these men are getting clouts and followers, which will eventually manifest into currency. But it doesn't look like exploitation, and that's the tricky part. That's why somebody is probably in my comments right now telling me to shut up and stop complaining.
Facts.
Because this attention that they're giving us, it presents itself as a privilege, a favor of which we should be grateful. These men are parading their love for black women as some sort of badge of honor, championing themselves as the bravehearts who are willing to desire the least desirable and making money off of it. And you know how I know this is a money game? Because right now, possibly for the first time, at least at this level, black women are it.
Yep.
We are the moment. And that's across all spaces, not just in music and
She ain't lying. This is why I don't understand why we're even accepting this. Like, excuse me, like, why are we accepting this? Like, this is so bare minimum. Like, this is bare minimum. Again, did we not learn anything when we did it to black men? I mean, generations and generations of black men. Now you got black men walking around like they the prize. The same thing is gonna happen to non-black men if we don't tone it down. Just tone it down and stop putting men on a pedestal. Put yourself on a pedestal, sis. If you don't get nothing from this video, put yourself on a pedestal. Because if you don't, people are going to use your trauma and take advantage of you. That is what happened to me. This man took my trauma and used it to his gain, his benefit. And it left me broken yet again. Heal from your trauma, put yourself on a pedestal, and love yourself. If we can just all do it at the same time, like, I'm here with you, because it's time. We need to learn from our mistakes. This is chess. This is not checkers. Because if we accept this, if we accept performative admiration, these men, next thing you know, these non-black men are going to be acting like black men as a collective. They're going to be acting like them, walking around talking about, yeah, I'm the prize. Let these men actually compete for us. Let's put ourselves on a pedestal and let these men compete for us instead of giving in to a compliment. Do you see other women out here just giving in to a compliment, praising men for giving them a compliment? No, you don't see that because it's bare minimum.
Fashion, but in politics, in education, on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But where was this energy 5 years ago when we were just as beautiful, but the beauty hierarchy disagreed? Where was this energy 7 years ago, 10 years ago, when we were just as beautiful, we just weren't the moment, and you weren't promised clout and popularity for joining in on that moment? There is only a market for this shit because there's a demand.
Exactly.
So some form of responsibility has to be taken here. Black women, I wish we would stop putting these men on pedestals for simply not hating us. Case in point, this whole Christopher Jamal Evans thing. Now, I love Captain America just as much as the next gal. He's a very handsome man.
I mean, he cool. He alright.
I do not see Jamal, Jermaine, or Jacquees in that man. But what's the hype? Why did we make him an honorary Negro? Why can't I go 2 hours without seeing some black woman on my timeline absolutely losing her shit over that man? Apparently, a couple years ago, sorry, my fake nose ring about to fall out. Apparently, a couple years ago, he did an interview, and the interviewer was a black woman, and he was like giving her the eyes or something like that. I don't know. I wasn't there. He escorted Regina King up the steps at the Oscars, very chivalrous. Actually, let's run the clip. I actually thought it was very cute.
This is the first Oscar and nomination for Regina King.
This is bare minimum. This is bare minimum. Oh my God. He helped her up the stairs.
Yeah, I'll give him that. That's a very kind young man with a gentleman. He's been
my
spotted
gosh.
with a couple black women here and there. He's had a buzz cut in the past. And he's tweeted a couple times in support of BLM. And for these reasons, he is apparently our new undisputed black king.
So what I'm hearing is that I'm not Caucasian. Okay.
Do you see how the bar is on the floor? Do you see how it's like descending into the basement?
Girl, it's below hell at this point. I don't even know where hell is.
Guys keep making those pandering ass videos because they see how black women on social media respond to non-black men who give us, or who give even just one of us, a crumb of attention
for money.
They see how some of y'all view that as a win, and it's fucking weird. Nobody else does that. Black women are beautiful. That is a fact.
Facts.
And a fact remains constant no matter who believes it. And while appreciation is nice, first of all, there's a difference between praise and pity. But if it is genuine appreciation, I thank you.
Thank you.
But I'm not indebted to you.
Thank you.
I'm not going to pop this little plus for you. Just
exactly. Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This I already knew. Now.
Oh my God, this video was so needed. Oh my God.
Some non-black men, after showing interest in us, expect us to reward them sexually because that, for some reason, is the only, for some reason, I'll get to the reason.
Right.
That is the only lens they're able to see us through.
Wow.
Fetishization. A fetish is defined as a form of sexual desire in which gratification is linked to an abnormal degree to a particular object, item of clothing,
object.
Body.
The definition says object. Are you an object? Am I an object? No. Do I want to be treated like an object? No. Do I want to be treated like a prompt? No.
Hot take. I do not think fetishes are inherently bad. The basic concept of a fetish, I'm fine with it.
Right.
I really don't think it's really that big of a deal so long as it's being done between gleefully consenting adults of sound body and mind.
Right.
There's no problem with that. And there's also no problem as long as we are talking about objects.
Right.
Activity.
Objects.
Not a whole ass group of people. When you view black women, human beings, also as your dirty little secret, also as your cheeky little hobby, or like we just talked about, your claim to fame.
This sounds very similar to trans.
If loving and admiring
women.
Black women is not a part of you, both behind closed doors and in front of them, that's an issue. Furthermore, this expectation of black women to always be overtly sexual on your command. Why nobody called the cops? Cat Black, who I love so much, did a video recently on race play. Now, Kat's perspective is one I really, really value, especially when it comes to this topic, because she has always been very vocal about having white male sexual partners. In this race play video, she said something that was so good, and it stuck with me so much. I don't even want to paraphrase it. I just want to play it for y'all.
I've always resented, I really do hate that there are so many people who look at me and see tall, confident black girl, she must want to tie me up and call me a little white bitch. No. And I spend so much time pushing those people away, so much time shutting those people down. It is very, very, very frustrating. And it's frustrating again because these people are taking their racial fetish and they're completely ignoring me as an individual.
Wow.
And just trying to project their racial fetishism onto me.
I never knew this. Okay. I knew this was a thing, but I didn't know it was like on this level. Wow. Why are people afraid to talk about this? Why are black women afraid to talk about this? And I'm sure I'm going to get comments talking about, oh, this video is not on code. You know what? We have to take accountability in this because we always praise others. We always praise men. We praise other women. When are we going to learn to not praise people but ourselves? When? So then people can stop coming at us sideways. I wish somebody would come at me like this. This is crazy. This is absolutely insane. And I'm so glad that Kat spoke out about this. I'm loving this video because it's real. It's reality. It's the truth. This is like truth serum on steroids. And I would rather this be out in the public and be known than to deal with this behind the scenes. Because again, this is another form of oppression. Black women, do we not see it like that? Because that's how I see it. If we weren't so focused on trying to one-up black men, we wouldn't even be dealing with this at all. Instead of trying to one-up black men, how about we just put ourselves on pedestals? How about we just love ourselves just a little bit more? You know what? Not even a little bit more. Just a lot more. Because that's what other women be doing. That's what they do. They be minding their business, placing themselves on pedestals, praising themselves.
And that's not okay. It's not. If we weren't talking about race play, that's not okay.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Now, I don't want to kink shame, you know, because like Kat mentioned in her video, some black people do consent to and enjoy race play. And that's your business.
That is your business. Thank you.
But
that's your business. That ain't my business.
Expect that from me.
Right. It's the expectations.
It's just yet another way to divorce black women's physical bodies from our humanity and reduce us to vehicles of pleasure. And if not of pleasure, then vehicles to produce like accolades, like bragging rights, to say that you dipped in the chocolate. I fucking hate when y'all say that. Or to produce mixed children. Not even gonna go there today. Some of y'all already think I hate light-skinned people, and I don't know.
Yeah, y'all think I hate light-skinned people too. But some of y'all consider me light-skinned, so I don't know where that's coming from. I really don't know where that's coming from. I consider myself black, but some of y'all consider me light-skinned, and then y'all think that I have some type of hatred towards light-skinned people and biracial people. What? Listen, I love myself. So whatever you want to label me that, but understand that this is not hatred towards biracial people or light-skinned people. This is just the truth. Colorism is real. Fetishization is real. And y'all need to get over it. Like, it's the truth. I'm not sugarcoating it.
Links are in the description if you want to go check out some other people who've already covered this topic. Shucks, I know they did a really great video on this too. Thank you all so much for watching, especially if you made it all the way to the end of the video. I also want to say thank you to Queen Kat for letting me use her video in my video. Let me tell y'all, this video gave me so much fun in the beginning. I think it was because I took such a long break. It was only like 2.
Asking me why I prefer black women. Let's break it down. If you see my account, you'll know the stuff I like to talk about. A lot of sociology. In my experience, I have better conversations about that with black women. That's because it affects them. It doesn't affect white women as much. They don't think about it. 90% of the time I see somebody really talking spicy on this app saying something I really agree with, it is a black woman. Also, black women don't have an issue with my friends. I've had multiple white girls be like, why do you hang out with so many black people? That's because black people people don't ask me dumb questions like that. Also, I was a criminal for a long time. I think a lot of white girls like drug dealers because it's cool. They don't really care about you. This is just like a game for them. White women will let you self-destruct. Told a lot of my friends that. They didn't listen to me, and that's exactly what happened. Black women seem to genuinely care and want me to do better. Also, this is a little newscaster voice. It is exclusively for job interviews, court, and talking to girls when they're mad at me. So I don't feel that comfortable around white people. I feel like black people laugh with me and white people laugh at me.
So I just want to wrap up my thoughts. This is something that we have brought on ourselves, and it's because we can't just be comfortable with validating ourselves. We have to hear it from men. And I get it, but at the same time, it's like, who cares? If you think you're bomb, you're bomb. That's just my whole outlook of it. Like, if you really think you're bomb, but the issue is that you don't think you're bomb. It's crazy because black men now are trying to lower our self-esteem, trying to make it seem like we're average at best. So I think it's best that we take control because a woman can do that. If you think femininity isn't about taking control, it is. It's about knowing when to and knowing when not to, knowing when to take a step back and knowing when to take a step forward. And when it comes to this, I feel like as black women, we need to take a step forward. We need to take control over how others perceive us to be, how we deserve to be treated. And how do you go about doing that? By paying them no mind. When they do this fake performative admiration, when they do this fake performative praising. So I feel like we can take control over this, but it's really up to us. And when it comes down to it, if we are really trying to break generational curses, we need to learn from our great-grandmother, our grandmothers, and our mothers. They placed black men on a pedestal for simply being black. So let's not turn around and place non-black men on a pedestal for simply being non-black, because it's just going to repeat itself. Then the next thing you know, non-black men feel like they don't have to work a job, they don't have to take care of their kids, they don't need to improve their communities, because what? We facilitate men who do what? Bare minimum? Listen, date who you want to date, love who you want to love. I'm here for it. That includes other women if that is what you're into. But placing them on a pedestal, no. You need to get men to invest in you. Don't place them on a pedestal because they gave you a compliment. Show appreciation, right? But not praise. Or like Regina Hall, where now we're praising a white man for helping her up some stairs. Seriously? That is bare minimum. So I need black women, I need you guys to get in this energy of luxury and understanding what is bare minimum and what's above that. And compliments and admiration is very low. Very, very low. I mean, it's at the floor. It's where your feet are. So actually get these men to invest in you and get them to compete for you, because if you praise them and place them on a pedestal for bare minimum, they're not going to invest in you. They're not going to feel like they need to.
So I'm sure I'm going to get this question. I'm sure you guys are probably wondering, but I was sent this video and there were a lot of things in this video that I could agree with. However, there were some other things that I didn't necessarily agree with. And one thing that I've learned about being fetishized over, like I said in this video previously with my childhood, it brought on a form of trauma. And one thing that I learned about black men who fetishized me, because I have to keep it a stack, it was black men who originally fetishized me. I attracted emotionally abusive men who fetishized me. So I feel like it's very dangerous to promote black women in this way. I get what he's saying, like this is great promotion, and that part of it I can agree with. But the kind of promotion that we black women receive is very, very crucial, because it's going to determine the crowd of man that we are attracting. And when you reduce yourself to a fetish, when you reduce yourself to an object, please understand that you're going to be attracting low bottom barrel brads and chads, the same way that I was attracting within the black community. I would attract the Pookies and the Ray Rays. So I agree to a certain extent with what this YouTuber is saying. However, we have to be very careful about what we praise and what we appreciate, because there's a very thin line. And if Black women wanted to profit off of our fetishization, it doesn't always have to be about our sexuality. It doesn't have to be about how others view us. It could be something as simple as hair, makeup, maybe even starting a skin line, a cosmetic line, a hairline, a clothing line. If we're going to benefit from our fetishization, we should do it in that way and be very business savvy about it. But I don't feel like we have to reduce ourselves to objects. And that's just my opinion, because again, I didn't like it from Black men, so I'm not going to turn around and accept it from non-Black men. It's the behavior that I have an issue with.
If you were intimate with the man, right, and you praised him for being good in bed, right, and I mean, he was average, right? Average at best. But you praised him anyway. You fed into his ego, even though he probably didn't give you an orgasm. He probably couldn't even give you an orgasm. So now he's walking around with a chip on his shoulder, feeling like he's the prize because you did what? You praised him for doing what? Nothing. Because he didn't even give you an orgasm, right? So now he's walking around in his ego thinking he did something. How about you try this? The next time you're intimate with your man, hopefully he's your man, or just intimate, whatever. Downplay it. Just tell him, oh, I mean, it was okay. It was average at best. The next time you guys are intimate, he's gonna perform better. He's gonna perform better. This is how men are. You have to feed into their ego to where it works for you, sis. Stop feeding into men's ego to where it works against you. Because when you praise men for doing the bare minimum, you praise them in a way that works against you. So the next time you're intimate, downplay it. Oh, it was okay. The next time you guys are intimate, he's gonna go above and beyond. Mark my words. The same thing goes to this entire situation. You start praising men for the bare minimum, they don't feel like they should give you more. They don't feel like they should impress you. They don't feel like they should invest in you or perform at a higher level. That's just one example, but it's a good example. And I want you guys to at least try it out and see how it works. For those that are sexually active, I want you guys to try that out. I promise you, the next time you guys are intimate, he's going to give you 100%, probably 150%, because that is how men are wired. So that's all that I have regarding this video. I would love your thoughts and opinions, so make sure you comment them down below. And if you're new here, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you are notified for when I upload. This is Real with Yoni, and I will see you guys in my next video.